What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Hywel and today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and how I've been using it to get shredded this summer. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about intermittent fasting, and this is something which I think has got very popular over the last few years, but probably for the wrong reasons. So like big celebrities, for example Terry Crews, saying how it's his secret to getting shredded or build muscle, for example. So I'm going to run a little clip now.
Over the last 5 years, I have been doing intermittent fasting. I can feel the difference. I literally can put pictures of myself now versus pictures of myself at 22 years old, and I look and feel much better right now.
So basically, Terry Crews is one of those guys who's promoting intermittent fasting, and the guy is not gonna like go around it. He's pretty much taking steroids, and even if he wasn't, like that slim chance that he wasn't, he would be genetically gifted, and he's gifted anyway, but like that genetics is like, it puts intermittent fasting, I think, on a pedestal for the amount of people actually watching that video, and they think that they're going to get these massive benefits from intermittent fasting. Now, I'm not knocking intermittent fasting in any way, which is why I actually went and found this study, which I found quite interesting because it took 8 average males, I think, all of around about the same BMI and same age, so I think they were 25 years old, so relatively young, healthy males of around 25 BMI as well. I'll actually link the study if you want to look it up below. But that study used 8 men, and ideally I would have liked to see more people because genetics can play a part with dieting and training in general. But those 8 men, of those 8, the entire study found that overall their metabolism increased, so it actually increased metabolic rates, and also insulin sensitivity increased. So those were the 2 main findings from the project. Now, before I talk about both of those things, which are both brilliant things, especially if you're into bodybuilding, there are things you need to know about the fasting in general, especially for the one carried out in the study. Now, most of the studies I actually looked at were quite intense fasting periods. So this one itself was, I think, a 16-hour fast, if not a little bit more, and there was only around 4 to 6 hours of window which you're allowed to eat in. Basically, that's what intermittent fasting is periodized eating of your meals. So you'll take a massive chunk out of your day where you won't eat anything. I think in some of the studies you were able to consume coffee because that satiates you a little bit, but apart from that, no food is to be taken in that fasting period. Now, I'm letting you know this because for myself, that's not the way I carry out intermittent fasting, which we'll discuss at the end. But from these 18 to 20 hour fasts, the results were quite promising. Now, what is insulin sensitivity and why is it good if you're into bodybuilding? Basically, insulin sensitivity is the opposite of insulin resistance, which is a super bad thing and can actually cause stuff like diabetes, heart problems, and just a massive list of issues, honestly. But insulin sensitivity is one of those benefits where you can actually improve your insulin sensitivity through diet, mainly through vegetables, I think. I know red meat can also play a beneficial role in that. Stuff like white rice and that, carby foods, can improve insulin sensitivity, and that's something I may look into making a video on in the future. But insulin in general is actually a hormone, and it is one of the strongest, most powerful anabolic hormones out there. It's actually more anabolic than testosterone, which a lot of people overlook. And while we're talking about anabolic rates, we might as well delve into the second finding of the study, which was the improved metabolic rates. Now, metabolism is basically the functioning of the human body, or just a life in general, where you are able to maintain yourself. So it's the process, the chemical process of which a life is able to stay alive. So basically what we're going to be talking about today is your anabolic and catabolic stages, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard from the bodybuilding scene that you don't want to be in a catabolic stage and you want to be as anabolic as possible for as long as possible. Anabolic just means that your body's utilizing and building, whereas catabolic means that it's kind of like degrading. I'm sure there's more scientific definitions for that, but off the top of my head I can't remember them. But basically, improving your metabolism in bodybuilding has so many benefits because of those 2 features, and also being able to eat more and burn more calories over time is just beneficial in general for both cutting and bulking, because on a bulk it means that you can consume more calories and you're just going to be able to put more energy in, more energy out, especially in the gym, you can grow to new limits. Whereas while you're in a calorie deficit, that improved metabolic rate is going to help you to burn that fat and get that shifted weight off quicker and faster. Also, the last thing you want is your metabolism to crash, especially when you're dieting. So that's one of those things. People will drop carbs very quickly and then they leave themselves nowhere to go because their metabolic rate has been damaged, or basically they're not able to eat the low enough calories their body's now got used to and adapted to lose weight. And although this study proved both of those things, I do think it was quite an excessive period of fasting, and by that I mean it's more than what I usually do. So for myself, I actually fast for more like 12 to 14 hours, and this is why I wanted to make this video, because you can make fasting suit you. You don't have to do these excessive fasts, and it's not one of those things that I recommend, especially for a beginner, because it is extremely hard and it can be stressful in a way, especially in those last few hours. It is going to get quite hard and your body is going to be under a lot of stress. So one of those things I would suggest is trying it for a shorter period of time, and I'm talking, like myself, 12 to 14 hours. Now personally, I have seen benefits from this, but not to the point where a study could prove that my insulin levels have increased or I can improve my metabolic rate. But personally, from my own standpoint, I think that it has just helped me maintain a deficit. If I eat at 9 o'clock for my last meal of the night and I wait until say 12 or 1 o'clock to consume my next meal, it just means that I have less time to consume calories throughout the day. So if I was to have a breakfast as soon as I wake up, say 7 o'clock, I'm gonna have to space my meals out so far apart that it's just, mentally, it is easier for me to eat within a certain window. And like I said, I don't be picking and just eating things throughout the day, because I am hungry when I'm actually in a calorie deficit. Which brings me to the second reason why I do this. I push my first meal back so far that so when I'm going to bed in the night, I'm not actually hungry, and that's a massive thing for me. I cannot sleep while I go to bed hungry. So that's something that I've been able to overcome and work out for myself just by pushing that first meal back. That being said, it is an absolute nightmare when you're bulking. So when you go straight from a cut to a bulk, it is hard to transition, especially when you've taught yourself to wait until around 12 or 1 o'clock to start eating food. It doesn't work as well when you're bulking, purely because I have to really force myself to eat food when I'm bulking. So from a personal standpoint, when I'm bulking, I try to get my first meal in as early as possible. It's pretty much the opposite. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on intermittent fasting, guys. I hope that it gives you some knowledge. I tried to throw a study in there so it wasn't just my point of view, but I know my point of view does actually help, because my own personal experience can show you guys what a study can't. So hopefully you've seen both sides and don't believe the overhyped stuff, although intermittent fasting is definitely beneficial, and I do recommend starting off on a low level fast, so 12 to 14 hours, if you've never tried it before and you want to lose some weight. Thanks for watching anyway, guys. I appreciate you, and I will catch you in my next video. Peace.